But what I'm saying is when you did this thing called marriage and you made a covenant, not a contract, inside of that covenant was forgiveness, was love, was empathy, was faithfulness, was gentleness, was kindness, was self-control, was hurt, was rupture and repair, was love. I love everything that's not right about you. This is covenant. And if you don't understand covenant, you don't understand that God actually can use our mistrust and distrust. Watch this now. For not faith in the person, right, but faith in the process. Like when we were jacked up, the counselor told me, trust the process when you can't trust her.
Yeah.
What is going on, Ari Body? Jimmy and Irene here with the 2 = 1 Marriage Podcast.
That's right.
Can we just shout out our team, Kevin and Heather back there?
They're amazing.
Just amazing. Kevin just capturing everything with his bald head. You know what I mean? And Heather with her workaholism. I asked her how she was doing. I was like, hey, Heather, how are you doing? She just went straight to business. I'm like, no, I really care. I really care.
That is funny.
They're both married, not to each other, but have amazing marriages. And we're all doing this thing together.
We get to do this. I cannot believe it. Sometimes I'm like, I just have to pinch myself because I can't believe we get to do something that we love with people we love.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. So not only do we love them, we love you.
Yes.
And that's why we want you to be a part of our monthly coaching. And I'm telling you right now, if your marriage is jacked up, if you're tired of resentment, if you're tired of fighting the same fights over and over and over again, if you're tired of your wife promising sex and then going to sleep early, this is what you need. It's $47 a month will cure your sex life in your marriage. I'm promising that. No, you actually have to do the tools. Right. We're going to give you the tools, but you got to work them. We're not giving you toys. We're giving you tools. Tools. Come on.
You are so
tools.
Crazy.
And so this episode is about to, I'm excited about this episode because I think a lot of people, I've talked to so many people, you know what? And so many people in marriages and relationships are dealing with unfaithfulness, infidelity, and all of that stuff. Betrayal.
Whether it's emotional or, they're addicted to something and they find out about it. And like it's, that feels like a betrayal.
Yep. And it leads to distrust, mistrust. And trust is an anchor of intimacy. Trust is an anchor of connectivity. Like trust is an anchor. And like, how do I anchor this? Like if you're in a boat, and the waves are going in, as long as you drop the anchor, you're not going to drift. But if you don't have the anchor of trust, man, your relationship will drift away. You'll drift apart. I'm preaching right here, by the way. This is good. We're going to preach this message. But I'm just talking about trust. Like, I don't think people understand trust and how to trust again. They've been hurt. Can you talk about some of the women that maybe you've talked to, or couples you've talked to that like are just struggling in mistrust?
Yeah. I mean, you've had somebody cheat on you and, you're like trying not to think that the next guy you're dating or the guy you're married to is going to do the same thing. But you have a fear that your trust is going to be broken. And some people have asked us all the time. There are people who ask us all the time, should I stay or should I go? And it's like, should I stay in the marriage when there's infidelity? Should I leave? What does the Bible say? They want to get us, caught up in the theology of it and explaining it. And you know what? We're not going to do that because guess what? At the end of the day, they have to live with their choice.
You live with your choice.
Yes. So go to the Bible. Yes. Read it and then pray and ask God, is this something that I should leave or should I go? Talk about it in counseling. You've got to process that thing because you got to own the consequences of the choice, whether it's good consequences or bad consequences. I remember when our mentors told us, you were like, this is just too hard. She was like, Jimmy, you think getting a divorce is going to be easy?
Wow.
Like, it's going to be hard. The emotional toll it's going to take on the kids. Like, what if it's going to take some risk? But what if you actually learn and go through this process of trusting Irene, learning to trust her again, perhaps it could work and your relationship could go to another level. Maybe this is an opportunity. Like this hardship, this pain, this broken trust, this betrayal doesn't feel good right now in this moment. But perhaps this is an opportunity for us to exercise attempting, because two people have to be in on it. Yeah. Two people have to be working towards the same outcome. So if I broke your trust, which I did with alcohol, I became full disclosure. You had my credit cards, you knew where I was going. I didn't, it wasn't control to me. I wanted connection. I wanted to stay connected to my husband. Yeah. So I surrendered those things. I have friends who have gone through finding out that their spouse has, committed adultery, and they're like, do I stay? Do I go? Biblically, where am I at? And my advice to them has just been like, when they're trying to make that decision, they always ask the question like, well, I want to know more. When did it happen? How did it happen?
They want information.
Yeah, they want information. And I push back on them and I say, is that information, the answer to that question, going to help you or hurt you right now?
Wow.
So rather than like ruminating on the fact that I want to know what does she look like? What happened? When was it? When you lied to me? And I know you can identify with that even just with my addiction. Yeah. Like the things we're telling and rolling around in your mind and obsessing over.
Yeah, I think we want information. Yeah. Like we think that information is going to heal our distrust. If I have more information. No. You don't have information you want a case. Yes. You're creating a case. And here's what we want. You might have trust issues you might have trust issues if you're asking for information and not tools. Everybody wants advice, but not tools. When you said earlier, should I leave? Should I stay? They want advice. What they're not asking for, hey, can you give me the tools to trust again? No one's asking for tools. Yeah. They're asking for information to build a case to make a decision. You can't make a decision unless you have tools.
What do they call it? Confirmation bias?
They're
looking for someone to just agree with them so they can feel good about the choice.
And guess what, guys? You are not allowed to leave out on the marriage that you refuse to work on and get tools. And I'm telling you right now, this is what this is all about. This podcast is all about. This coaching is all about. It's about giving you tools so that you're making healthy decisions because guess what? Your trust doesn't get healed just because you have a new relationship. New don't heal it.
Yeah, we need more tools. Rather than information.
Absolutely.
We got to get real and ask ourselves, why am I asking? Why do I need this answer? And then, is it going to be helpful in healing? Wow. Or is it going to, help make me get stuck in anger and grief where I can't progress to forgive? Because really, part of the trust process is forgiveness. Forgiveness is a part of that. It's a requirement, in fact. We are required to take the risk to forgive, even though we are still hurting.
So good.
You know what I mean?
I think if couples understood, and I wish we had understood this early on, that forgiveness is a decision. Reconciliation is a process. Right. And let me say that again. Forgiveness is a decision. And reconciliation is a process. Let me say that again. Forgiveness is a decision. Yep. Reconciliation is a process. When you make a decision to forgive, it is the seed of reconciliation. It's not the end. It's the not, beginning. We're good now.
It's the beginning.
It's like, no, 100%. I need you to understand that you can be in a marriage and have distrust in the relationship. And guess what? And still be married. Because it's a process. We don't like the word process. It didn't take you, 2 seconds to get here. It took you a long time to get to mistrust and distrust. And it's not going to take you 2 seconds to heal it. And that's why what people don't understand is you don't need a lot of information at the inception of finding something out. Yeah. You found something. You caught your spouse cheating. You caught them doing pornography. You caught them drinking. What You don't need information right there. You need empathy before you need information.
It's true.
I'm preaching right here. You need empathy before you need information.
But it's so hard to give empathy when
Empathy.
you've been hurt.
But what I'm saying is when you did this thing called marriage and you made a covenant, not a contract, inside of that covenant was forgiveness, was love, was empathy, was faithfulness, was gentleness, was kindness, was self-control, was hurt, was rupture and repair, was love. I love everything that's not right about you. This is covenant. And if you don't understand covenant, you don't understand that God actually can use our mistrust and distrust. Watch this now. For not faith in the person,
right,
but faith in the process. Like when we were jacked up, the counselor told me, trust the process. When you can't trust her.
Yeah.
Trust the process. When you're working out, trust the process. I've been working out.
Yes, you have.
I've been lifting weights. I've been doing burpees. I hate burpees. I despise burpees. Burpees take my breath.
Yes, they do.
Burpees got my fat just jiggling
Oh
all
my
around.
gosh.
Guess what, though? Something is going on in burpees that I can't see.
Right.
It's building stamina. It's building my lung capacity. It is building my muscle elasticity. You like that word? I said
look at
elasticity.
you. You're so smart.
I'm smart, huh? Elasticity. I don't know what it means, but it's building it. But if I'm just looking at the pain of the moment, I'm not thinking about the process. But when you get a picture of what it could be, when you start to see that little muscle, when you start to realize, oh, I'm breathing, better than I was last time, you start to value process.
Yeah.
Can you talk to some listeners that just need to value process?
Yeah. I mean, like we said in the beginning, it's about progress over perfection.
Yeah.
But we get stuck in like parts of the process, whether it's like, the grief part or the anger part. Because actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, it's really grief.
It is.
Like when you've been hurt, when you're challenged to forgive someone, like trust is built when we are, taking the time to grieve.
It's real.
And so I think sitting in that grief and like addressing it and being real with it over time, we move through it versus getting stuck. So let's say we're not with that person anymore.
Yeah.
You are healthy emotionally because you went through all of the phases of grief. Wow. Now you can go into your second marriage or into a new relationship without that baggage. And I'm not saying people have to get a divorce and stuff, because we have experienced going through the grief process and ending up, the end result being together.
Yeah.
And we both get to experience the joy that comes at the end. And really the end result of going through a grief process is acceptance, right?
So
acceptance and finding purpose in the pain.
Yeah.
So like the original wound actually can have purpose if we go through this process.
I think that's
of
what
grief.
I feel like helped me when I was came into the family week, and they talked about the stages of grief. And one of the stages, it might be the 6th stage, I think, it was when you get to the place of having a new relationship with what was, a new definition.
That acceptance piece.
With what was.
Yep.
And I thought that's going to be my baby's mama now, not my wife. Right? My new definition.
Right.
With what was, because you drank. Because you cheated on me with alcohol. That's how I viewed it at the time. And I didn't know that I could have a new relationship with the hurt. Yeah. And what you are experiencing right now is my new relationship with what was. Yeah. My new relationship is I fell in love with the junk and the pain and the turmoil that we had. And now purpose is coming out of it because you're listening to it right now. And let me tell y'all, back then, it was a decision every day. Every day I had to decide, I'm going to trust her today. Every day I had to decide. And guess what? As I made that decision every day, right? Progress over perfection, right? Like I found myself not looking for water bottles with vodka. I found myself not stalking you on Life 360 to see if you stopped at the liquor store.
Right.
And I had no idea that now I don't even think about it.
Right.
But back then, but guess what? This is my new relationship with what was, and it was a part of grief. And I think people feel like grief is throwing in the white towel that it's over. You can grieve something you still love.
Yeah.
You can grieve something
That's
you
good,
still
Jimmy.
sleep next to every night. That's how you get through the mistrust and the distrust in your marriage so that you can trust again.
And that's how you get to true intimacy, really.
That's real intimacy, right? Like intimacy is not perfection. Intimacy is honesty. It's not like freedom is not perfection. It's honesty. Like I love the fact
Having
now that
nothing
we got
there,
honesty. And let me tell you something again. When you begin to trust again,
Yeah.
you'll begin to be honest. And let me tell you something. Those people who've experienced infidelity in your marriage, your husband or your wife, they're never not going to be attracted to the opposite sex. But can you have honesty in your relationship? Because if I have honesty, now I can put accountability around it and say, hey, can you help me not be in those environments? Can you help me change my proximity?
And I trust because you're honest.
And I trust.
You know, I trust that you're going to make wise choices. I trust all those things.
Wow.
Why? Because you're honest about things that the average person won't even say out loud.
Right.
So
If I can't trust you, I'm really saying I can't trust God. Because what I'm saying is I can't trust God to redeem in you what caused the hurt. I can't trust God to forgive. I can't trust God to heal.
Right.
I can't trust God to make all things new. Right? What I'm basically saying is I really don't have a relationship with God.
wow, because trust is about dependence.
Absolutely.
And so
my trust is not in you. Oh, babe, do you remember
what?
when we were in counseling or coaching? I can't remember where we were in. And I think somebody said something like, oh, God, give me this memory. There's nothing Irene can do to heal you. There's nothing Jimmy can do to heal you. Like in your best human efforts,
I see what
you've
you're saying.
never changed a heart.
Yep.
Only
I
God can
remember
do that.
Only God can
Oh
change
my
your heart.
gosh.
So that's
You can't put on enough lingerie for your
Nope.
husband to stop looking at other women.
No, it's you got to relinquish complete control of the
Only
outcome.
God can change that in him.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So this whole trust thing,
It's deep.
I would offer that we carry a lie. Them dollar bills in your pocket that says in God we trust. I don't think that's the truth. I think we've allowed the disappointments of people horizontally to cause us to be disappointed in a God vertically.
Right.
And it should be the other way around.
Right.
We should allow the trust in God vertically to allow us to get healed enough to trust people again.
That's right.
Wow. You can trust again. I promise. But you're going to have to first trust God.
It's going to be risky. It's going to be scary, but it'll be worth it.
Absolutely. This episode has been fire.
Yeah.
Y'all need to like. You need to subscribe. And if you haven't done, you need to share this. Because there's some people right now that says, I'll never trust again. First of all, stop saying that. You're putting limits on God.
That's right.
You're basically saying, I'm anti-God. I'm an atheist. No, I believe God can heal that. But first, your relationship vertically needs to be fixed before your relationship horizontally could be fixed.
That's right.
Trust again. Until next time.
Until next time.
I trust that next time's going to be good.
All right. We love y'all.
We'll see y'all.